Beyonce is being accused again of doing black magic. Now here's what I'm gonna say. Everybody ain't lying. I spent probably a week doing research on all the people that they were connected with, and all of them are connected to some sort of black magic, some sort of witchery.
Not Beyonce going back to that demonic voodoo mess, just so she can help her and Jay-Z to get out of all the dark things they allegedly did with Diddy. Beyonce was already exposed for doing witchcraft on folks, and allegedly even keeping dead bodies in her house for her rituals. But baby, the receipts of those allegations are finally getting exposed by her nanny, and it's even worse than we thought. Not only that, but word on the street is Jay-Z is getting seriously broke and Ba is the one keeping him from losing his billionaire status. No wonder he has her out here touring back to back with a broken knee and popping out different businesses at the speed of light.
He put in the lawsuit, Jay-Z, that he was facing financial hardship, saying that he was not able to get business loans that he needed for his business and personal life because of these lawsuits. They've caused reputational harm, and banks denied him, even though he couldn't get loans before to save Roc Nation. And so he had to resort to a PPP loan to save Roc Nation. And how is it that a billionaire can't go into his own stash and allow his business to borrow money from him to save his business? Why does he have to run to the government to save him?
The rumors about Bey's alleged witchcraft have been a thing since she started in the industry. But it got mainstream attention when her ex-drummer, Kimberly Thompson, who had been on several tours with her for years, suddenly quit her job in the middle of the On the Run 2 tour and accused Beyonce of using extreme witchcraft behind the scenes. She said that when she finally quit the tour, Beyonce allegedly sent people to her to make sure she didn't come running to the internet. Things got so bad that she filed a restraining order against Beyonce because she was scared for her life.
Not make this stuff up. Beyonce's ex-drummer of 7 years, she is seeking a restraining order against Beyonce. She's accusing her of dark magic, witchcraft, tapping into her phone bill, and basically controlling her finances, her. She's saying the Beyonce camp is put up a huge harassment campaign against her, and it's overall witchcraft. She sought a restraining order in the past. It got denied, and she has another one scheduled for October 11th, but the internet is just like, what? Excuse me? And, you know, I was just at the Beyonce concert last week in Houston. It was definitely a religious experience.
What the girl cats? A girl went to court and charged her with extreme witchcraft. She was hypnotized. She was drugged. Beyonce came and she was in there eating on her while she was asleep, snacking on his people cats. And guess what? They wouldn't give her the restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too, which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician. She was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music, handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band.
Kimberly kept quiet for years after this because people were calling her crazy and even showing up at her home to leave hate letters. However, just a few months ago, she finally decided to speak on the situation again, and baby, she had a whole lot to say. She said she regrets ever working for Beyonce because ever since she exposed everything, she hasn't been able to find work in the industry. She even accused Beyonce's sister, Solange, of also being involved in the demonic stuff.
I definitely did that to definitely be so clear to cut the cord that I don't want to have anything to do with this person at all. I don't want to work with them. I'm even embarrassed that I have worked with them because it's literally shattered everything that I've tried to build after doing that work in my life. So if I have always said when I was a kid, I never would want to regret anything, but this I regret. I regret that we ever worked together because it's turned my life completely upside down. She's not been able to let me go. She's not been able to let me progress into a mature woman and work with other people, build other great entities and statues and trophies that develop in the arts world and music. She's just been a savage, stealing my intellectual property, stealing my ideas, just basically doing anything and everything to damage any type of happiness that I could have had up to current. That be in my own independent career, establishing my own company, my own music, relationships, whether it be business partnerships, personal relationships. So I've had to do a lot of work, a lot of practice of self-love. I know that You know, I was that kid that grew up and always did the right things and always studied really hard and always did a lot for whoever I was working for in the company. And, you know, that time has come and passed over and over again. And it's just been a nightmare to try to move on and do other things with other people without it getting totally destroyed. The other people I've worked with that have been on a plateau have been paid to fire me. I found this out, and then it just kept happening. So it was like, it was a pattern. You know, you get really excited about something, you build it up.
Everyone was quick to believe Kimberly, especially after she brought up Solange. Not too long ago, when Nicki Minaj was online acting up and dragging Jay and Beyonce, Solange stepped into the chat to allegedly do some witchcraft on Nicki. At least, that's what people were saying. While Nicki was in the middle of her rant, Solange jumped on Instagram to post images of the demons or idols she was worshipping. Because of the timing of her post, people accused her of hinting to Nicki that if she didn't stop speaking on her family, she was going to summon her idols and place some irreversible curses on her. And Nicki definitely got the memo because right after that post, she stopped talking. These rumors were fueled by the popular tea blogger Storm Monroe, who accused Beyonce of being a Hollywood high priestess. He claimed that Beyonce has strong ties to a demonic deity called Oshin, and apparently this deity is one of the most powerful ones there is. He said Madonna used to be the highest-ranking witch in Hollywood and still holds a high place there, but Beyonce is currently the top-standing queen, and that's why the industry gives her so much grace. However, people believe that all those awards she receives come at the cost of her children, especially Rumi and Sir. Storm was basically alleging that the reason Rumi and Sir are not as sharp as Blue Ivy is because Beyonce allegedly used them as a sacrifice.
No, Beyonce is a witch. She's a very powerful witch. She's heavy into African spirituality. She is a daughter of, I believe, either a daughter of Oshun or Yemaya. I go back and forth. I feel like it's Oshun though, but if I got it wrong, I got it wrong. But nonetheless, she's a high-ranking witch. Okay. How many people have come out and said, hey, shit, my cat started dying, Beyonce did this to me, I saw Beyonce do that. Like, this is nothing new, okay? But you got to understand, when it comes to Illuminati, to this industry, one person replaces the other. Madonna's old. Madonna is almost done. And Madonna is a very high-ranking witch. She is a high priestess. That's just pretty much what it is. Of course, the main thing Madonna practices is Kabbalah, but then there's different versions of Kabbalah, just like there's different versions of African spirituality. But then I also believe that in addition to African spirituality, I do believe that Beyonce is into dark magic and black magic as well, her and Jay-Z. And we're just gonna leave it at that.
Once Storm put this out there, people obviously started doing their own digging to see if there was any history of Bey doing things like this. And there was. In fact, Bey herself was the one who seemingly started these rumors when she introduced her infamous Sasha Fierce alter ego. She revealed that every time she used the alter ego, she felt possessed. Beyonce claimed she only called on that alter ego to take over whenever she needed to perform because she was naturally a shy person and couldn't perform without Sasha Fierce taking full control of her body. She said, "Right before I performed for the BET Awards, I raised my hands up, and it was the first time I felt something else come into me. I knew that was going to be my coming out night at the award show." And just recently, when we thought things couldn't get any worse, one of Beyonce's former dancers, Kadia Sherry, came out to accuse Beyonce of allegedly paying people to come and kidnap her child and assault her. Apparently, this was Kadia's punishment for not staying with Beyonce after finding out about the alleged witchcraft. Kadia said, "Are you serious? You called for my child to be hurt? You evil witch. Essence, check on my child. I'm about to blow this through the roof. Beyonce, you went too far. You got to be kidding me. I'm the child you offed to be a star. You forgot you were only supposed to be a star on the tree giving orders of takeouts. Never went with your stardom. When it was happening to me, I kept my mouth shut for my career. Not with my goddaughter. I'll blow your world up." But it doesn't stop there. Last year, when Jaguar Wright did that heated interview with Piers Morgan, the one that had Beyonce and Jay-Z sending out lawsuit threats, she also seemingly accused Beyonce of doing witchcraft in her house. She accused Beyonce and Jay-Z of allegedly keeping the remains of people they supposedly harmed in their home, and then using those remains for their rituals.
Well, because the Me Too movement was a ruse. It was a setup. It was a scam. I'm saying that now. publicly. Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there. If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. For decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland? Social media.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim?
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Pierce.
But get this, y'all. Word on the street is that Jaguar got all this tea about Beyonce and Jay-Z's alleged victims in their house from Beyonce's former nanny. The identity of this nanny hasn't been disclosed, but it's said that she worked for Bey and Jay when the twins were born and later quit after allegedly witnessing some demonic mess. When she saw Jaguar going in on them, she reportedly ran to Jaguar to tell her what she knew, because she believed Jaguar was brave enough to come out and say it. Apparently, the nanny didn't want to spill all this tea directly because she didn't want to end up blacklisted like the ex-drummer and dancer. One person said, Solange already exposed herself for practicing witchcraft, and people still think those women are lying. Pathetic. It's time to start using common sense, folks. Another person added, initially, I thought these allegations were crazy, but then I'm not surprised anymore, because Beyonce did say that in order for her mom to have her, her grandmother would burn candles. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Beyonce allegedly practicing black magic? And do you really believe she's dabbling in that mess to help Jay-Z come out of his alleged financial troubles? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.